A romantic comedy starring Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher. It feels like the early 2000s, but does this movie belong in the early 2000s? Let's do it. What's up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to the channel. I like a good rom-com. I said a good rom-com. We're going to answer the question, is this one good? Please leave your comments down below, and if you like the review and you want to drop a like, that's cool. If not, I understand. So Debbie, played by Reese Witherspoon, and Peter, played by Ashton Kutcher, are best friends and total opposites. She craves routine with her son in LA. He thrives on change in New York. When they swap houses and lives for a week, they discover what they think they want might not be what they really need. This movie is rated PG-13 for suggestive material and brief, strong language. Honestly, it is a film that families can watch. Part of the movie is based around Reese Witherspoon and her son. Of course, they switch places, so in comes Ashton Kutcher, and you have the obvious tropes of, I don't know what it's like to raise a kid or how to spend time with a kid, but alas, there are hijinks. And then you have Reese Witherspoon's character in Debbie, who is in this brand new place, and for once in her life, she's kind of able to let loose. She's able to do something that she isn't accustomed to doing, and that is kind of staying within that routine and being the best mother that she can be. But it all comes down to what this relationship is like, and we see where they started all the way back in, I believe it was 2003, in that first encounter, and how that first encounter changed their lives. But they didn't get together. They just stayed friends. The big question is, did they actually like each other or love each other the whole time? It's a premise we've seen 1,000 times. And you know what you're getting with a movie like this. I mean, you see Reese Witherspoon headlining a romantic comedy, first of all in 2023, so it's actually kind of nice because she's really good in this type of film. But you get into what the story actually is and the meat of it all. It's very obvious where this is headed, or you think you know where this is headed. Now, there are other characters that come in and kind of get in the way of that friendship turning into something more. But it all comes down to how they handle this story and the chemistry between Witherspoon and Kutcher, which is actually pretty good. You know, I know we saw the behind-the-scenes things and the pictures. Some people were saying they didn't want to be there with each other, but I actually thought the chemistry was solid. I mean, it was as okay as it could be in this type of film, but they really aren't on screen all that much together, right? They swap places. They're on other sides of the country, but allowing yourself to kind of get into the mindset of being in such a different place for a week and learning that, you know, where you thought you needed to be at this point in your life may not be where you should be. That's a nice message, but it is a tired message. It's a message we've seen 1,000 times in a rom-com like this. And my big issue with this movie is the fact that the script, well, it's not great. Off the bat, you get exposition galore. The girl that Peter is with at the beginning of this movie, she's saying, well, I mean, your best friend is a woman that I've never met, and she immediately starts to recap everything that we saw in the opening scene and tell us things that we kind of already knew or could figure out. Then she proceeds to, after saying, well, why wouldn't you be with me? Look at me. So we're learning all we need to know about this character. Like, obviously, we don't want them to end up with each other. And then, and it's not a spoiler, it's in the first 5 minutes of the movie, she breaks up with him off the bat, right after saying she was cool with him being friends with Debbie on his birthday, for crying out loud. And the dialogue in those moments, and some of the supporting players here weren't great, but that character in particular, I'm like, that's this whole opening scene and sequence has been completely mishandled, and you are getting off on the worst foot with this movie. So I'm immediately rolling my eyes, right? Then we start to get into the relationship that we care about and their chemistry, their back and forth. They're always on the phone. They're always FaceTiming. But their conversations, it's like the writers couldn't come up with something interesting enough to keep us going, right? We have an end goal, and we get there eventually. And something that has to do with Kutcher's character writing a book, and something that has to do with her son trying to make friends, and all that is, well, it's just there. It feels like filler, right? And an hour and 20 minutes of this hour and 45, 55-minute film feels like filler. Like, it's fine, but it feels like an episode of a TV show that you could just skip and get to the good stuff. And the good stuff happens in the last 20 minutes of the movie. And it's okay. The way that it wrapped up, it's cliche, but it's cute. It's cute enough, mostly because you like these actors. But do you like the characters, or do you like the actors? I don't really know. The supporting characters include Zoe Chow, Tig Notaro, who I thought was actually a really funny and interesting character, Rachel Bloom, Jesse Williams, Steve Zahn, who plays like this crazy, outlandish, kind of always high dude who comes in and makes a mark in the movie for sure. Theo is a really interesting character that Debbie encounters, and it kind of changes the trajectory of where she's at. It throws a wrench into things, and you can tell that there is something that's sparking there. So you're actually asking yourself as an audience member, do I want her to be with Kutcher's character, or do I want her to be with this guy because he seems like a good guy? But that is also a relationship that I thought would turn into something a bit more interesting, especially the way that they meet. She's kind of obsessed with his work and what he does, but it never really... I don't know. It never really continued to capture my interest. I fell off numerous times watching this film. I'm like, the dialogue's not that great, the chemistry between the actors not that great, and this story, I've just seen it over and over and over, and nothing new about this movie kept me engaged. It's one of those movies where I wanted to get my phone out and get on Twitter, and that's horrible. Twitter's an awful place. So before I give you my score, it's one of those stories, it's not offensively bad, but I'm watching it just rolling my eyes so much throughout the movie. I think if you're a fan of this genre, you're going to find some really cute moments in there because they're absolutely present. But again, I just think it's because the actors are so charismatic. By the way, if you enjoyed this video and you want to drop a like, that would be great. As sweet as the main relationship is, mostly due to the charismatic actors at the center, the story is the opposite of authentic. The exposition-filled opening sets the stage for some rough dialogue, and the plot just isn't interesting enough. I'm going a 40% with my score. Again, it wasn't offensively bad, but I don't think I will ever remember what happens in this movie. So don't ask me in a month. I won't know. I won't have anything to tell you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you soon.